At ground zero of the toxic sludge disaster in Western Hungary, emergency crews have been working round the clock to remove the worst of the toxic mud. The sludge, containing a byproduct of heavy metal alumina, flooded the area when the wall of a reservoir of an aluminium company collapsed. The sludge wrought havoc on the nearby villages and towns, destroying nearly 1,000 hectares of land, killing 9 people and injuring 120. Josef's mother, who once lived here, was one of those who were killed when the waves of toxic sludge struck the village. The devastation left hardly anything to recover to remember her by.
Ebbe a házba lakott édesanyám, és én így születtem ebbe a házba. Hát ez volt édesanyámat elvitte a víz, és innét néhány 100 méterre találták meg szegény meghalva másnap. Pali előszobája, mellette odébb ott volt a konyha, és az mögött van a fürdőszobodáig, be se tudunk jutni, már annyian romhalmazzá lett.
The next-door neighbours didn't survive the disaster. An elderly woman was buried in the ruins, while her husband's body was found many miles away in the centre of a neighbouring city. This once popular fishing pond is totally ruined by the toxic waves. The mudlines on the trees indicate how high the sludge was when it swept through the village.
És ez egy nagyon megnyugtató, gyönyörű, szép környezetben volt. Nem hiszem, hogy a környéken ilyen környezetben tó található, mint amilyen ez volt. És ez lett belőle. Most jelenleg durván 3 méter, 4 méter ilyen lugos iszap van benne.
The paddock along the pond is now a highly toxic mud pool, and the surviving cattle have nowhere in the village to graze. The flooding destroyed not only properties, but also the mainstay of the local economy, agriculture. Fields stretching for miles are no longer suitable for farming. The flood destroyed most bridges in its path, contaminating creeks and rivers that run through the villages. Officials declared that all life in the red polluted creeks is dead. Now the major health concern is the poisonous dust present in the air as the mud dries. Clinical toxicologist Dr. Gabor, who's treated patients from the area, warns that the regular exposure is highly hazardous.
Akik ott maradnak és tartósan ott élnek, azért rendszeresen találkoznak ezekkel az anyagokkal, ami tartós irritációt okozhat, amiből akár krónikus betegség is lehet. Ugyanakkor a pornak a fémtartalma, hogyha beüt a tüdőbe, és ott átmegy a légzőmembránon, azon keresztül gyakorlatilag a szervezet bármilyen részébe elutazhat, és mivel nem tudjuk, hogy ezeknek a poroknak a tartós belégzése milyen egészségkárosodást okoz, ezért itt az ember csak tippelhet a jövő szempontjából.
The government has allowed hundreds of displaced residents to return home, now that the newly built dikes are complete. However, recent air pollution measurements by toxic experts from Greenpeace indicate that the toxicity is significantly higher than the acceptable level.
Government officials planning to move the local people back to the affected villages. We find it totally unacceptable because this toxic mud in a fine dust substance in the air really dangerous for human health, and breathing in it can cause breathing disorders, it can go into the lungs and it can go into the people's blood.
Despite the government's assurances, Fox knows that he and his family's life will never be the same. The disaster not only ruined the house of his childhood, but also tore his family apart. The memorial plaque commemorating the disaster epitomizes the anger felt by citizens across the nation. It reads, "For victims, both natural world and people, of human negligence and greed." What happened here on the 4th of October is a reminder of the potential danger that the hazardous industrial reservoirs scattered across the country still hold.